Okay, and welcome to the Herd Summer Racing League. So we have the D's are setting off right now. We've got 5 minutes before the C's will head off, and 5 minutes then for the B's and the A's. So it looks like a small group for the D's tonight. Not sure exactly how small. Right now we're following Paul Kelleher from the herd of, I believe that's the Plowing Percherons. And looks like we have, looks like 5 that we've got in the race. So we've got a group of 2, a solo, and then another group of, looks like another group of 2 behind that. So we'll see whether they group together a little bit as we go here, or whether it stays strung out. I'm here with Brent, who is currently warming up for his race, but hopefully will talk to me for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
So, Brent,
are they sprinting already in the D race?
They will be sprinting in just a moment. The sprint is right out of the gate here. So I expect it'll come together after the sprint a little bit, but we'll have to see.
What's Bailey's favorite start to a race ever?
Yep. No, so Paul is definitely sprinting big time. Orange numbers, and so he's got the guy he's with also sprinting hard, but it looks like he came around the guy and had a gap of a second when by the time he was through. So he was under 15 seconds. And
that's a good sprint.
Yeah, that's a solid sprint for sure.
Nice work, Paul.
So we'll see. If I were Paul, I would definitely be sitting right up here and trying to get a group together, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's a long ways before something else happens in this race after that first sprint.
Yeah, so I mean he's sitting at 1.5-ish, 1 to 1.5-ish, so I think he's not trying to go anywhere. We'll see whether, so Steve Wilder right now is 12 seconds back, so we'll see whether he catches on or not. There's another group 30 seconds back, so they'll probably stay back there.
Sheffield is big enough. Paul might be well advised to keep sitting up till they catch him.
Yeah, well, I think so. So it's only another group of 2. So Paul's hooked on with the one guy he'd been with before the sprint, who's kind of going just a little bit faster. We'll just see whether he's just sitting in that guy's draft. He's not pushing the pace at all. So we'll see whether Steve is able to catch up to them or not.
Nice.
So the course, the course tonight is 2 laps of Casse, which is a really big. This is a long HSRL course. So that's 2 laps. So the Marina Sprint twice on the lead in, and at the end of the first lap. It doesn't count on the end of the second lap because that's the finish line, and it just doesn't work right. But yeah, we had 2 sprints, the Aqueduct and Petit KOM per lap. So gonna be
Those
a
are
rough
8
one.
point segments.
Gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging with 8 segments in it, but at the same time, there is lots of space for the pack to sit up and catch its breath between, particularly between like Marina and Pavé. A little less after KOM to Marina, but Aqueduct to Marina is or Aqueduct to KOM, pretty long flat segment.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, Aqueduct to KOM is probably the well, and or Pavé to
Marina to Pavé.
yeah, Marina to Pavé is a big long stretch. Pavé to Aqueduct to Petit KOM can seem pretty tight sometimes.
Yes, that part of the race from Pavé to Aqueduct to KOM is going to be certainly where hearts are broken. Yeah, it's only about 1.9-ish kilometers from the Pavé Sprint to the Aqueduct, and then only 4 kilometers from there to the KOM. So,
Ah,
we got C's are off.
the C's are off. I had managed to mess up my my view here for a minute, but I will. I'll sort myself out. Um, so we have. There we go. So I've got Nate Holm of the herd mentality. I'm following right now. They're coming into the sprint here quickly. Nate hasn't really set himself up to tail gun all that. There he goes now, though.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky on this first start to really set yourself good for that fastest through type tactic because, Zwift racing starts are always super quick. And then you're trying to, position yourself, but you only have 600 meters.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. Very much. It's tricky. So looks like Nate. Looks like Nate's in third. So very solid. Yeah. So Nate's third fastest time. We've got. I see John Ring in sixth and Dennis Wade from the mentality in seventh as far as the fastest times. So yeah, there's solid herd riders there.
nice work, pals. Amazing.
So looking back to the D's, so it looked like Paul was perfectly willing to sit up. The rider looks like Atchinger from Zed Sun R, who he's drafting off of, has given a couple big surges to try and I think to try and keep Steve from catching up. But yeah, Paul just stays on the wheel, and yeah, we'll see how that progresses.
Well, that's a good plan there. I mean, how many C's is there?
So in the C's, it looks like. So I guess not counting my camera, I think 24.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Nate's in kind of the lead group right now, but the group that split off the back a little bit on the sprint is catching quickly. So just got to make sure that doesn't you don't get caught off the back of when that happens. Not that
I think this C's will probably catch the D's before the KOM, I think.
Given that the D's are essentially running without draft, yeah, they're going 6-7 kilometers an hour faster. So,
Oh yeah, they might catch him by Pavé at that rate.
yeah. But yeah, loads and loads of her jerseys in the C group here, and it does look like it did ease right off. Nobody's pushing the pace at this point, which I mean really is what you would expect.
No, I mean, there's really no reason for anyone to be in an HSRL race, especially to be trying to run the front of the group.
No, and yeah, the only reason, but no, there isn't really a reason. Yeah, because so the guy Paul's with, I've got no idea why he's doing it either. So I can only guess he doesn't really know the full rule set. And the bees are off. So we have a pretty big group of bees here. It looks like a much smaller herd representation than some weeks. I do see our friend Guy DeBell in an ATP jersey, but
yeah, boy.
sometime herd rep. But I'm following Alan Bray right now, so
Nice. Hey, this is usually the Eric Cedric slot as well. Is he out today?
I haven't seen him. I do see an S Turner, but I'm not sure I know who that is. Okay, and as we go through here, yeah, so just the D's.
Yeah, just start the pen.
Yeah, so the C's still sitting in a big pack. The Paul is drafting like a ninja on the back of his friend from Zed Sun R, who's likely getting a little frustrated by this point. So Alan Bray is they're about to hit the sprint. Alan's towards the front at the start and isn't really sprinting yet. Oh no, I missed the sprint. So they're through the sprint, and good time from Alan. So I see Alan sitting in fourth. Ian Elston got himself sixth fastest, and yes, our new friend Mr. Turner looks like ninth, and it looks like about a 29 rider pack with one rider been dropped off the back by 5 seconds, and Alan is the group rolled through Alan after the sprint, and I'm not sure he's going to get back on. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he's off. He is off and losing seconds quickly. Well, so looks like Alan is going all in on the hit the segments hard strategy because he doesn't have much option at this point. Because even if they're taking it easy, it's really hard to catch a group that big.
Yeah, especially like he's got no group, no nothing. He's solo meal.
He is solo. There's one rider that he's dropping that's going slower than him, 8 seconds back, and he's 10 seconds off the group now. So
That's tough.
Yeah, that is rough. And really, it's so easy to have. It doesn't take much. So Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, a big group like that comes through the sprint, and if you're not, if you really empty it for the sprint, then it can be very challenging to find that gear to get back into speed.
Yeah, and just the group that's catching up. So if because he was one of the fastest ones through, so I think he hit it really hard. Ended up off the front, and then when the group rolled through, I think he just missed catching on. And yeah, it's really easy to not realize you're in trouble until it's too late in that situation.
No kidding. And when
So
B's are fast, B group is fast usually, especially coming through at the end of a sprint, because there is bodies trying to keep the pack, and they're pushing a lot too.
yeah, well, and it looks like yeah, Alan's over 20 seconds back now, so that ship has sailed. So Brent, good luck. I'll leave you to the start. You're 15 seconds from starting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do I have going on here?
So we got Stuart Lynn is here with us.
Okay, yeah, I've got Stuart.
Not too bad on the start, honestly.
No, it doesn't look too bad. So nobody else is. Yeah, so none of the other groups are here. So we'll take a close look at Brent as we go through that first sprint.
Yeah, we're about 300 meters away.
Okay, good job, Brent. Way to catch that draft, and yeah, that looks like a solid sprint.
Yeah, that guy can sprint.
I would say.
It's like third, I'll take that.
Yeah, and it looks like you've got 12 or 13 actually in the race. So yeah, good luck.
This is where I try to avoid pulling that one.
So in the D's, we've got. So it looks like Steve Wilder has caught up with Paul and the ZZNR rider. So they are a group of three now. So that's yeah, they've got the possibility to go a little bit faster, but it looks like the D's have already made up a minute and 15 seconds, or the C's have made up that on the D's. Only less than 13 minutes into the C race. So
I know in race one, the B's didn't catch, or the A's didn't catch the B's, and like there was kind of a B and C group at the end. And the A's didn't catch them at the top of the second KOM.
So it looks like OTR is got an attack going in the B's. So they've got a small group off the front. So I'm following Ian Elston. He's he's latched on. So, and a few other riders have as well. I don't know if they're gonna give it up, or it looks like they're gonna push on with it though. But I think they're gonna get caught. Ian has definitely kind of given up the chase a little bit and drifted back into the pack. But it does look like it's going to come back together. But that definitely was a big push from OTR.
It's interesting. How many bodies does OTR have in the race? Have they got like 4 or 5?
They've got a lot more than that. They've
Oh.
so yeah, they put 6 into that attack, and there's at least another 3 or 4 back in the that were back in the pack. So
Okay, yeah. If you could get 6 away, you could totally still hit speed on the creams.
yeah.
So a lot of A riders dropping their power ups back here 3 kilometers.
Yeah, that I do find when I'm watching that does seem to happen sometimes, where there's a lot of guys in the A's that seem to play the game a little bit less, and just hit the power.
You don't think they're just magic sweat drops? I know they're not waving at me, but what kind of bike selection are you seeing out there today?
So I see a lot of Trons and some discs, and then a few kind of the aero bikes with the middle wheels. So it's kind of all over the place. I don't think I see any pure climber setups.
Yeah, that would be a bold choice in the series.
That would be a very bold choice in this race.
Yeah, we're about 3/4 Tron in the A's. Like Stewart's on a canyon with a disc.
Okay,
And there's a
so
couple other guys.
yep, Paul is on the Pavé Sprint right now. So he hit his aero power up. He'd let the Zed Sun R rider had gotten away. So Paul is kind of using the sprint to bridge here, which is actually a great strategy if you can work it. But I don't know if he's gonna. So and then he has done that. He's back on the back of the Zed Sun R rider, and they've got several seconds lead on Steve Wilder again. So that's kind of an interesting yo-yo going on there.
Looks like we've got 2 guys who are breaking away in the A's, but anyway. Not any of the 2 guys who tested the sprint, so. Oh, Stewart says he's on the Cervelo. Sorry.
Oh,
Not
okay.
the Canyon.
Yep. Do we tell them it's a points race or no?
I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would matter to them. They're going 5 watts per kilo in the front. Like, okay, have at her.
Yep.
Maybe they'll make up the points in the finish or not, but if they're going 5 minutes at 5 watts per kilo just for fun at the front of the race.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So it looks like the Zed Sun R rider is trying to drop Paul again. Paul's putting in a surge to get back on his wheel, which probably is the right call. I mean, you're just gonna you can use so much less energy just getting around the course in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those 2 in the D's are now kind of into those S's coming up towards the Aqueduct. The C's are approaching the Pavé Sprint now. So Nate is kind of towards the back, but it looks like there's a bit of a fight for last wheel here as they hit the line. Nate is just powering off the front. He's got nobody to draft, but he's hitting it hard. I see Alan Shovel right there as well. They've got a strong group hitting this sprint hard. And looks like Nate is around 5th. So
Nice.
good on him there. Alan Shovel got 3rd. Dennis Wade 7th again. So yeah, it looks like those 3 from the herd in that top 7-8 on both primes so far. So Paul Kelleher is on the Aqueduct right now. He's hitting that real hard with maintaining over 400 watts on the uphill section. He's caught up to the Zed Sun Rider again, back in his draft, and just coming over the top to finish ahead of him, which should guarantee him the fastest time on that, I think.
Nicely done, Paul.
By several seconds, as he let him go ahead. So, yeah, Paul is crushing the segments on this one. So the Bs are now approaching the Pavé Sprint. They hit the line. So Ian was hit that at the very back of the pack very nicely. He's coming through. He's got somebody to draft ahead of him. Big group of OTR guys in this group that's off the front sprinting. Couple dirt guys, so it looks like 2 dirt, and then Ian in 4th. So well done. I'll keep an eye there to see how Alan does when he gets there.
Yeah, you can still, like, for sure in an HSRL race, you can still get some relatively good points even with a hard, good sprint. Like, there's a pretty good mix of abilities.
Oh, very much. No, there's you can get something. It's going to be the field is big enough in the Bs tonight. It's going to be hard to place too well, just because you're giving up all the finish points. But you definitely get a respectable midfield by hitting the segments hard.
Yeah, and I mean, there may be, like, especially on the KOM, there's probably going to be a few bodies that might come back to it as a good KOM.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's possible, but that gap is big.
Yeah, that is a lot to make up. Especially when they're going to get the first, even if they drop, they're not going to drop till probably close to the second switchback.
Okay, and so I missed the C's hit on the Aqueduct in that excitement. So we're it does look like it was Alan Shovel 2nd, Dennis Wade 3rd, Nate Holm 4th for the herd in 2nd, 3rd, 4th on the times on the Aqueduct. So very solid.
Excellent.
And does look like it's splintered a bit, so we'll see how big whether it looks like a group of maybe 10-ish that have a pretty significant gap further back, so we'll see whether that holds or not. The Bs are on the Aqueduct, and Ian is pushing very hard, 6-ish watts per kilogram as he approaches the finish line. Ali and Clay. So Ian's down in 9th, which is a little worse than he'd done on the first 2 segments, but yeah, definitely 38 seconds, solid time, and yeah, we're still ready to go through and do it again.
It's tough. That Pavé to Aqueduct segment is so hard to do 2 good segments on.
Yeah, you have to really thrash yourself. So it looks like, it's there is a league group that Ian is a couple seconds off of. I don't know if he's gonna. There's a group behind, a couple seconds behind as well. So I don't know if he's gonna make his bet that this is gonna come back together or what. It looks like that's the way he's betting. He was kind of stuck in between, so I that's sometimes a pretty good bet as opposed to burning a match in between those 2 segments.
Yeah, and you got KOM coming too.
Yep. Well, that's right. Yeah, in between Aqueduct and KOM, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to burn a whole lot of energy in there. But I don't want to let the next group go either. So he's hooked on to the group that was behind him. So he's pulling that off properly. The D's are approaching the KOM here.
All right, we're about 1 kilometer from Pavé.
Yeah. In the B's, Cassandra Rush is reporting that she's already dead.
You got this, Cassandra.
Yeah. Okay, so the C's are getting pretty close to that lead couple D's. They're only a minute back now. Paul, it looks like he's pushing a little bit. He's got a couple seconds on that Zed Sun R Rider now, as he goes across the KOM start line. So that's a 3-second gap, and holy cow, as both of them hit 5 watts a kilogram as they on that first flat section.
Late.
Oh, good try, Brent. As we
those guys are fast. You started a bit late on that one.
So Brent, I'm not seeing times for the Pavé Sprint for some reason.
Looks like I'm third.
Oh, yeah.
24.
No, I see it now. Yeah. So yeah, looks like you're 4th, Stuart Lynn 6th. So good job. Very solid.
Yeah, I forgot how close to that bridge that start line is.
Yeah, it's really close. It's right there. So
I think those two Hey, two guys to be with, two guys won the first one too.
Yeah.
Mangum and Nelson, they're fast. And they're smart racers. They're definitely tail gunning it too.
No, and I mean that's definitely the play. So yeah, they're tail gunning it, but they're also going off the front. So there's
Yeah, exactly. I got me on here.
so the D's are on the switchbacks already. The C's are on the KOM approaching the switchbacks. And the B's are also on the KOM. And Brent is on the Aqueduct. Let's go, Brent. As we jump to the live cam.
I don't know, feather.
Let's go, Brent. So much time to be made up in this last little bit. Well done. Okay, so as I wait for that score to come up from the A's, in the D's we've got Paul has put he's put 17 seconds on the KOM into the ZSNR rider, so he is he's going real hard. And Nate Holm is riding by himself in second, with one rider way off the front in the C's, and everybody else I think looks like a small group 2 or 3 seconds back from Nate. So looks interesting in the C's.
Certainly make those second lap dreams matter.
Those second lap segments are going to be tough and important for sure. So it does look like Ian's having a little bit of trouble. There's a pretty big group. He's right at the back of it. I think he's going to be able to hang on here. He's sitting in 22nd of the B group right now. Nate Holm is still by himself in second as they're getting closer and closer to the top. Paul is getting very close to the top. He's so that lead C has blown past Paul. It does look like he's got 15 seconds on Nate on that climb, and Paul is very much gone through. The B's are overtaking Nate right now, the lead group of B's. So the KOM is causing mucho mayhem, and it does look like a couple C's, a couple of the C's that Nate had dropped a bit have caught up to him in that drafting on those B's. And that's where, kind of these alternating switchbacks, on half of them you can kind of draft a bit and half of them you can't.
And then you got to watch the top of this climb, because after you're through the banner, there's like a 10% little pitch.
Yep.
So you don't want to get dropped either.
No, you want to stay real close on that over the top here. Close to somebody anyway.
Yeah, it's one thing to sprint for the banner, but you might just, give up 1 or 2 points there to hold the group.
Yeah, so Nate is sitting with a Kay Staub and John Ring of the herd. So Kay Staub from a Colorado team, as they're coming up to the second last hairpin here. Paul Kelleher is he's a little bit behind them as they've overtaken, and Ian is a little bit behind them. So Ian has been dropped from that lead B group now. He's sitting in 20th. So Nate's going to be the first of our featured riders to hit the top. Right now he's sitting in 5th, but right next to two other riders as they go around the last turn and sprint to the line. So he's currently the 5th place C rider and looks like the 4th fastest KOM time. And that looked like a solid time in the sub 7s here. So
We just started the KOM. I didn't even try to tail gun this thing.
no, stay in the draft. So Paul is through with an 8:26. Very solid climb for him. And in the Bs, we've got Ian sitting in 20th. And going for the line. And yeah, I say it looks like the 20th fastest climb. We'll see whether he gets bumped down one more when Alan comes through. If Alan's able to break that. So there's a great big scattering of C's and B's all over the descent right now, as we'll just check in with Brent on the climb.
Yeah, it's very tactical at the start here. One guy's gone, but most of them haven't dropped a hammer yet.
No, it still looks like a group. So very well could be that the group, everybody's wanting to stay as a group for the first lap here. So might be very much a stay together and sprint at the line. Okay, so Brent is still with that main group of A's. It looks like one rider's gone off the front by about a minute. Ian, I think, has just had one other B rider just catch up to him on the descent, so he's got one guy with him. Nate is with a front group of C's that looks like about 6 or 7, and they're approaching the Marina Sprint again. Okay, as they hit the Marina Sprint, Nate's kind of a little off at the front of the main group here. There's one rider in front of him to give him some draft. They're hitting some big watts. Looks like Dean Kane definitely, I think, came around. Right now, looks like Nate in third so far for the second lap through Marina Sprint. Ian's approaching the sprint. Brent is approaching the top of the KOM.
Oh my God.
With a good push, Brent might be able to stay just close enough to hook back on in the descent. But it's going to be tough. That is a very solid climb time by Brent, but he is sitting in 11th on for the A's over the top of the KOM. Okay, so Paul and Ian are both approaching the sprint at this point. And they're both through. Not sure exactly how that went with either one of them. It's tough to tell in the second lap. So part of the fun here, we do have Paul Kelleher and Ian Elston in our B and D featured riders, currently riding together in a group. So in the C's, Nate Holm is in the lead group of it looks like 6 or 7 C's, who look to have 9 seconds on a chase group, and Brent, it looks like, is 20 seconds back from the main group and has one rider 10 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, you won't give up, but let me catch him.
I might say rest up a bit for that sprint and hope you can bridge on the sprint here, Brent.
Yeah, I think that's all I got left now. That's a 2-second PB. And I'm
I
7 seconds off the pace.
I thought it was, but yeah, that was a fast climb.
They were very tactical. Like they definitely accelerated when it was on the steep side, and then kind of laid back, and then accelerated, then laid back.
So it looks like there's a mixed group of B's and C's that are catching that lead group of C's. So that group will probably accelerate a bit as it grows. And Nate's putting in a little push to make sure that he's in the lead group as this merges, and if in case there's any split. D and B featured riders. We've got Paul Kelleher and Ian Elston riding together with one other rider, a C of N Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Two leaders just in 11 seconds on this Marina. Unreal.
And Brent's hitting the sprint right now. Big Watts. And I guess, Brent, I'm not sure what you hit for a time there. So
I'll wait till it comes up, I'll tell you. 1486. But no draft.
That's pretty solid. There were several riders above that first lap, so it's hard to say what everybody did second. They did look like they didn't go faster.
The first guys did.
So with a little check-in on looking at Zwift Power, it does look like Stu Turner is the herd rider who I didn't recognize. So he is in the lead group of Bs. It looks like that's 7 riders strong, with just a couple riders back behind them, and then we have that lead group of or that next group of Bs with the lead group of Cs, and that looks like it's about 15 total. So it'll be interesting to see whether that group actually makes up time on that lead group of Bs, because that group of only 7 may not be quite as fast across the flat. So, Brent, it looks like right now you're in a bit of no man's land. There's a couple.
Yeah, I'm all alone.
There's a couple riders behind you. Looks like Alan Bray has now caught on with the A's, so that might work out interesting for him for the second lap segments.
For sure.
And it looks like Ian and Paul's mixed category group here has swept up one more C, so they're now 4. And I think this group that Nate's in is bigger than it looks even on Zwift Power, because that is a lot of riders.
Oh, good on. So it looks like Scafardi caught the lead group, so that was a good push by him. Holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was big time. Okay, so as we go, we've still got a big mixed group of B's and C's. It looks like there's a bit of a push here right now, and a couple of the C's are starting to drift off the back. I'm guessing that this is the B's in the group wanting to catch up to that lead group of B's. But this is kind of the same spot where we've seen OTR put a group push in several times. So very curious. But they are sweeping up some Bs that are kind of in between here. Looks like Paul and Ian's group has met up with a few more. So Guy DeBell and a few others. So it looks like that group is now 7 or 8 strong. So if Paul can hang on to that for a while, although his friend from Zed Sanar is there as well, so I think he might be just watching him.
Well, that would make sense.
Yep. So Brent, I'm guessing you're far enough back. You've judged. You're just going for the segment times at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I'll try and keep the pace up a little bit so it doesn't take me too long to finish, but I think I'm over a minute back now.
Yeah.
So unless someone gets shaken off, or unless this guy behind me keeps going 4s.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does look like that big group of B's and C's, I think, has caught up now to the lead. No, they have not. There's a minute. Holy cow! That's getting that lead group is going fast.
That lead B's and lead C's?
No, so no, there's a lead group of 7 A's or 7 B's. Sorry, that lead group of 7 B's is absolutely flying. They've put a minute into that big group of B's and C's.
Wow.
So the absolute front of the race is that group of 7. It looks like bees. And then that next group of B's and C's looks like it's 19 or 20. So just a little further back, Ian and Paul are still in that mixed category group. That looks like it's 7 or 8 now. So that's going to be interesting on whether they sit up enough after the sprint for this to regroup. I'm pretty sure the B's will probably drop the D's by enough that they won't regroup after the Aqueduct, but we'll see after Pavé anyway. So it looks like another OTR attack off the front of that second mixed BC group again.
Ooh, they're putting the herd on.
It's been pretty constant. It's unusual. Except I'd say it's unusual, I guess. Except we've seen OTR and ATP both try a very similar tactic in that space between Marina and Pavé before. So it's it must work for them sometimes. So that group is hitting the Pavé Sprint right now. So Nate kind of rolled into the sprint a little bit, didn't hit it flying. So definitely seeing some a little bit of second lap metering of effort. I mean, he's big power anyway, but yeah, definitely not. Most guys weren't improving on their first lap, though it looks like Dennis Wade did. So good on him.
This is a long, flat segment to do solo.
This is a very long segment solo. I've done a lot of this solo in the past on a ZRL race where I had a power meter disconnection in the pen and didn't quite make it back on. So yeah,
I was just gonna say, I was pulling up that castle where you streamed to check where the brims were, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be hard. just sit in the pen for the first minute.
yeah. So it looks like they've gathered one more. So that group that Ian Elston and Paul Kelleher are in looks like it's 9 riders strong now. So they're making good time. And moving along, the BC group that Nate's in looks like it regrouped after the Pavé Sprint, and they're going up the S turns, approaching the Aqueduct. Paul and Ian are on the Pavé Sprint right now, both of them hitting that really hard. And right out, holy cow, Paul can sprint. So Paul and Ian dropped that group. Nate is going hard on the Aqueduct, or reasonably hard. Right at towards the front of this group. Pushing hard in the draft of the bees he's with here as we go across the flat part. He's got Alan Cheval right behind him. And looks like he did not improve on his time, but he was I think the first C across the line, so very likely a very solid time there.
Hey guys, what did I miss?
You missed me getting dropped on the KOM.
Not by much. That was a very solid climb, Brent.
Last switchback got me.
That is tough. I remember that. I've started drinking to forget race one, but I do remember the KOM being a special moment in my day. So
Both times?
you survived that far. If you survived that far until you got dropped, Brent, I would say well done.
Actually, I had good results in the sprints. I was like 3, 3, 4 on the first 3 segments.
That's great work. It looks like, how big is your A field here? Teens?
A
dozen. Nice.
So, Chris, welcome, and glad you could join us. So right now we're following Brent in the A's, Ian Elston in the B's, Nate Holm in the C's, and Paul Kelleher in the D's. So we're just about... Ian Elston and Paul Kelleher have been riding together, but they're about to hit the start of the Aqueduct, so likely going to split a bit.
Yeah, I see that. They're just on the lower slopes, so this is all about to blow back up to shit again. So, great times. Fun to watch it all unfold.
Yeah.
And it's not that far. You guys have probably already talked about this, but just now joining the fun. But Pavé to Aqueduct is a short 1-2 punch, and it's not that long between Aqueduct and Petit KOM start line either. A little bit longer, but not by much.
No, very much. It's it's a bang, bang, bang in the legs. Not a lot of fun.
Legs and other organs.
So it looks like Paul has not improved on his time, but has definitely been faster up the Aqueduct than the D rider that's with him from Zidsanar, Atchinger is how I'm pronouncing it, and anybody's welcome to disagree with me. Ian Elston was the fastest in their group up the Aqueduct, but looks to be sitting up a bit and waiting. He's got Guy DeBell right behind him, so I think at least part of this group should reform here.
Good job going with Guy. I just instincts kick in every time, and it's always Guy, and then I correct myself. Great power numbers there too from is it Paul Kelleher?
It is, yeah. So yeah, he definitely shows some. He's got some really good surge. But he's been.
All right.
And here we go, Brent, on the Pavé Sprint.
Sunflower fields are looking magnificent as ever, basking in the French sunlight.
As Brent is go, go, go all the way through.
Ah.
Solid sprint, Brent.
25.95.
Great job.
Was faster than a couple on the first lap, so maybe all right. Some points there.
Yep. I think that's a solid effort. So right now, as far as the Paul and Ian, they have split apart, but they're each in a group of 3 for now, and looks like Paul might get a couple more. So Ian's sitting with Guy DeBell and another B by the name of Guzman, and yeah, Paul is sitting with 2 C's, and there's one more a couple seconds up the road that will probably get rolled up by that group. So that looks interesting. Now the lead C's in with that second group of B's are on the climb, they're just about done the preliminary flatter section now, and coming up to the first switchback turn. So it does look like Nate is there with Dennis Wade and Alan Chevel for herd riders. There's a number of OTRBs there, so it's going to be interesting to see how hard they push when it gets a little steeper here.
One interesting thing from race 1 is, and I think I mentioned this on when we talked Pinktron earlier, but I was in the lead group of Bs up until the end of the second KOM, Petit KOM, and we didn't get passed through by the lead group of A's until, gosh, it was like 200 meters from the KOM banner. But when they caught us, that's when I got chucked off the back of the lead Bs and just couldn't hang. But it took a while for those lead A's to collect the front group of the Bs.
So in this race, I don't think there's much chance of the A's catching the lead Bs, and I think they probably will catch Ian and Guy, but
yep.
That group that Nate's in, the lead C's and second group of Bs, I don't think they're going to get caught by the A's either. They
won't even catch them.
No, they've got several minutes on them, and they're already on the KOM, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Something to keep if you haven't raced this yet, though. Something to keep an eye out for, because you can hitch a ride, and like, let's say you're in the second group of whatever category you're in, and the category above you comes through. Do your best to hitch a ride. Maybe you get back into the lead group.
Yeah, that's a classic HSRL tactic, and definitely what I've surfed the A's back to the lead B's before, and yeah.
It sounds great in theory, but I can't hang with the A's. So
depends on the race. Depends on the race. On the long races, it's easier.
Very, very true. Very true. Well, good on you, Craig, for being able to do that. I did like that live look in too with Brent, where Brent's sprinting right at you. It's like a 4D experience.
He's coming right into your face. But
yeah.
Should I move my laptop over the back? There we go.
So Nate is absolutely hammering this climb. He's got 4 seconds on Dennis, who's second in the C's right now, and he's got 20 seconds on Alan Chevel, who's third. So he is, and they all started as a group. So he is very much looking in line to if he can hold this.
Yeah, and some riders up ahead, which helps with this climb if you're able to reconnect with them. A little bit draftable on the flat. water sections, but
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to hook back on to that B group that's 5 seconds up, but he does have
yeah,
one rider with him, but I think he's going to lose him as well here.
every little bit helps. The longer you're able to stay connected, the better. But you got to finish the race and not blow up. So, good point.
So it does look like Dennis is bringing Nate back a little bit on these last couple switchbacks. Knowing Nate, he might sit up just a little bit and turn it into a sprint for the line.
Yeah, I was going to say, let him catch up. You know, get a little draft for a little bit,
Yeah.
recover, a little micro recovery, zip, 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 and then one more punch over the top.
But I'm pretty sure that group of Bs isn't going to sit up over the top. So I think he's going to want to sit up after the banner to let Dennis get on. Or potentially try to catch that lone B ahead of him. Either works, I guess.
There's a couple A's that are just like they haven't raised the points at all. They just went 5.0 at the start. I think they're doing 5.0 the whole time. They're 5 minutes in front of me.
Yep.
Like, okay. That is the thing with the A's is like in the B's at least you have like A cap. In the A's, like Peter Sagan could jump in here and I'd be like, okay, have fun.
Pretty much. There's no cap. So it looks like Dennis did beat Nate on that one, both or on the time. So they bettered their times from lap 1 at 6:39 and 6:40. So very solid climbs at the front of the C's.
Yeah, especially being with not in a big group, because that is a climb where draft definitely matters. So those are really, really good times.
Yeah, and it looks like these guys are gonna hook together here, and so it'll be a looks like Dennis and Nate probably. Yeah. Well, they're battling for the for first position anyway. We'll see how exactly that goes. Nate is little push to get up to super tech speed. I think Dennis is still right behind him. So yeah, these guys might do a little bit of punching, sprint and super tuck as we go here to try and drop each other. So Paul Kelleher, the A's, holy cow, just flew by him, including Stuart Lynn. But he's got a minute up on the ZSNR rider he was riding with earlier. So he's looking pretty comfy for the finishing position. Not sure on the climb time. I don't think they started the climb together this time, so be a little bit different. Nate and Dennis just caught up to that lone B rider that had been 10 seconds ahead of them. These guys are definitely a little more aggressive on the descent here, though he picked it up to catch on to them.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing we can't see is what's the gap back to the next B rider where he might be trying to protect a position. You can catch a ride with these guys just going down the hill.
Yeah, so it looks like a significant gap back behind them to the next B rider, but
okay.
It's still. I'd rather be done sooner. Might as well put a little dig in to stay in the draft. And
it's more fun to ride with friends. That's why we're all here.
Now they tell me.
What's going through your mind right now, Brent? You're just checking off some kilometers until you get the final climb, yeah?
I'm in the KOM now.
You're on the KOM.
Yeah.
Like I said. Anybody around, front or back, that you can see?
I just
You're
passed
just
like
solo.
a ski or something.
So you're just hill climbing, ITTing it up to the top and seeing where the chips fall, yeah?
Pretty much, yep.
Paul's putting in some good climbing numbers here.
Oh, very much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just making sure he gets the points on the climb here. Actually, it does look like he might not get the points on this climb because Atchinger was 12 seconds further back than he is at the moment. So he might end up with second on this climb, but he's been first on most of the other segments. So I think he's probably pretty good for the race win. I mean, he's got 53 seconds on the road, so.
Like Ian's up and over the KOM, so he's just rolling in.
He's got he's 12 seconds ahead of Guy, and Guzman is 15 seconds ahead of him. So we'll see whether either of those gaps closes enough to make things interesting.
Yeah, that's when it's interesting if you can hook onto outside of category riders and get a group draft, and that gap comes down quickly. I know because I've been caught several times on this descent. Nice ride, Nate.
Yeah, good ride by Nate. Nate's to the finish.
Thanks.
Sounds like he's doing well. The breathing is rhythmic and soothing.
My wife just let me know that my kid made me spaghetti for supper.
Excellent.
It's going to be damn delicious today.
Looking good, Brent.
Yeah, Paul's still pushing to get up to the top. Brent is a couple of corners behind.
Any funny looks from your family members, Brent, when you said, "Hey, I just got to set up this video link so other people can watch me pedal in my basement"?
They don't know. It's just a laptop, so they can tell.
Perfect. Yeah, the more we say it out loud, the weirder it gets. So probably best that we don't share it.
I told the people on council I was on a podcast about indoor bike racing, and I think they thought I made it up.
Yeah, you can just tell us you're busy. You don't have to make stuff up, Brent. It's fine.
So Ian's Ian Elston is pushing hard right now. Guy DeBell was very much closing the gap, so that's down to 6 seconds, and I think that might actually be less than 6 as they come up to the that last little bridge in the cobbles coming up to the Marina Sprint. Showing 5 seconds. That's we do have a potential race here. It was down to 4 there for a second.
Does he have other bodies with him? Is that why the gap's coming down, or is he just soloing?
No, I think they're both. It looks like they're both solo.
Just solo. Okay.
So
Power against power. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, Guy is looks like Guy is pushing a little bit harder. but I think Ian has enough gap. It's 4 seconds coming into the sprint. 3 seconds as Ian crosses the sprint line.
That's probably good from there.
It probably is, but it's getting close.
It's creeping up.
Oh yeah, no, looks like Ian's got it, but yeah, that was an excellent effort by Guy, and well gauged by Ian on just enough to stay ahead there.
Perfect. Maximum results, minimum effort.
And Brent finishes the climb.
Good job, Brent.
That was not as fast the first one.
That's probably understandable.
What's the finishing strategy for you, Brent? Just don't die?
Pretty much. Don't get caught by the guy 3 minutes behind me.
Is that the back gap? Is 3 minutes?
Yeah.
You've probably got that locked down, so good job.
I don't think I was the slowest up the climb on the second go around.
Probably not. I think some of the other guys looked like they were struggling to hang on, and were probably a little slower on the climb. So yeah, you might have gotten some points there for sure. Okay, so Paul is approaching the finish. He has a minute 2 on Atchinger, and so he's pretty solid in his finishing place now. Alan Bray, actually, who got dropped after the first sprint and has been definitely doing the cruise and surge on the segment strategy, is actually right with Atchinger right now. But
Sue and Stuart. I think again it was Alan or Eric was in the A group. Probably Alan. He was the first one to get dropped.
yeah.
And Stuart was like, "Go help Brent." I'm like, I don't think Alan and I are catching you guys, Stuart. Thanks for the help, though.
Yeah.
Dude, like the big descent following the climb, like they just move too fast in a group.
No, it's so hard to catch on after that. Yeah.
If it was a flat, I'd have half a chance to like get out a TT onto the back, but
Yep.
solo down the descent, no way.
No, it's only if you happen to catch on. So if you happen to catch on with another group.
Yeah,
but no, it just didn't work out, the timing here. So Paul Kelleher just through the line. Good job, Paul.
Yeah, did the A's even catch did they even pass the C group?
No, they didn't get close to the lead C's.
So I mean, there was no one for me to catch.
No, wow. So there were other groups, but it wasn't the fastest lead groups. So no.
I think I probably passed 10 or 15 riders since I got dropped, but I mean, that's all over the whole road. There was no groups. Well, that's pretty uneventful for all the viewers to watch my sad butt roll in the last kilometer here. I'll give them a good show. I'll spread it out at the end here.
Good stuff.
Live
Good
picture
stuff.
on that.
Slide my bike back away from my computer a bit. I got 700 meters to go.
Strong finish, Brent. Good job doing this. That's a heck of a task to being a man on the course. feel like you did a great job.
This is my A practice. Getting the guys in the back. They're good. The A is full of good cyclists, man. You got to be on your game. Keep up.
Okay, as we come into the finish. This sprint isn't scored for points.
No, it's probably not going to be 809 watts.
But Brent brings the power up just to give the crowd a show. And there's the end.
Oh, Lordy. I didn't even get a 3.2 in, Chris. 3.0.
So thank you very much, Brent. Chris, thanks for joining when you were able, and appreciate the assistance for lap 2 there. And yeah, thanks to all our racers, and congrats.
Good night, everybody.
Race, everybody.
Bye.
Oh.